Welcome to the Ages of Rock podcast with your hosts Bill Algie, Dennis Talbot, and Alan Tate. We are three guys who have one thing in common, a love of rock and roll. Our goal is to talk about all things rock. We hope you find this show intriguing, funny, and occasionally highly opinionated. Enjoy! Hey boys and girls, this is episode number 321 of the Ages of Rock podcast, and I'm here with my normal cohorts, and I've already screwed this episode up. Yes!
We're getting it done early.
less than a minute.
Well, that's not unusual.
It is what it is.
Alan's outside. Did you get kicked out of the house or what?
No, we had a porch built on a couple of months ago, and we pretty much every day that if it has not been raining, we've been sitting on the porch drinking coffee after work. Sorry. Somebody just made an obscene gesture out the bedroom window.
There you go. You need to go in, or
I'm getting it. Y'all gonna have to do the show without me.
So we'll be back in about 3 minutes. Is that what you're saying?
That's
minute and a half.
Way too long. Anyway, we really don't have a theme for this week's episode. Did you guys watch the movie Elvis?
Yeah, we have a theme. We have a theme too. It's called Wingin It.
Yeah,
I've seen it twice. Actually, I went to the theater and saw it about a month ago, and then we saw it. Actually, Kelly bought it on Amazon Prime, and then the next day it comes out on HBO. So friends of ours Saturday night hollered and said, "Hey, we're getting ready to." No, Sunday night we go home with my parents, and they said, "Hey, we're getting ready to watch Elvis at 7:00." So we went over and watched it again.
So anyway, what I was saying before Miss Obscene Gesture showed up in the window is we had this porch built on a couple of months ago, and it, if it's not raining outside, after we get off work, we sit on the porch and have a cup of coffee or something. So I was sitting here, I thought, well, hell, I'm just going to do the episode outside today.
Got good background noise too.
The worst that's going to happen is my neighbor's going to yell something obscene, and then it'll be even funnier.
That's correct.
Yeah. But before we get started, I know you guys like to do album acquisitions and some kind of show and tell, and I never have anything for show and tell hardly until today.
But
I got one of those. I forgot about that.
Right. Well, you didn't get one of what he's got.
No, he got the.
You got the same thing I got.
Yeah, you got a laminate. Look at that.
A VIP laminate for Louder Than Life, Saturday only. I don't even think this says Saturday on here. I don't know. Oh, my wristband says Saturday.
I got one of
Saturday.
those.
Yeah.
I got a wristband that says GA.
And it says, activate your wristband here. So I covered up the QR code.
You know, I was thinking about that earlier. I was going to hold mine up and show it. And I'm like, no, I'll forget to hold the bar. I'll forget to cover the barcode. And then nobody will steal it. So it didn't matter. Right. But whatever.
And then it comes with
I got
fancy.
mine. Got mine, 2 days ago? I guess it's
fancy lanyard. Yeah, mine just came in the mail today.
Right.
I actually thought that I had it sent to my post office box, and then I forgot to stop by there on the way home. So I was quite happy to find it in my regular mailbox.
But we didn't get a fancy lanyard like that there, son. We got just a regular old
wristband and
paper document
honest,
and a wristband.
This is the only thing I give a shit about. This laminate, lanyard, whatever, doesn't mean diddly squat to me. Because if I'm not required to wear it at the show, I am not going to wear it.
Are you supposed to, or you don't know?
I haven't read the rules yet.
I haven't either. I'm looking forward to that, though.
Wear it until I get inside and then stick it in my pocket.
Cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Should be a good show. Kiss is only playing, I noticed from the schedule, Kiss is only playing, an hour and a half?
Something like that.
Yeah.
But one thing, they did release the schedule, and one thing that kind of disappoints me but kind of doesn't disappoint me, because I've seen him a few times, is Rob Zombie and Body Count are going to be on stage at almost the exact same time. So I'm going to miss the Rob Zombie set because I've never seen Body Count, and I think it'd be pretty cool to see Ice-T.
I don't even know what Body Count is. I've never even...
It's Ice-T's hard rock band.
Gotcha.
And granted, I'll be honest with you, I know 2 songs that Body Count has done.
Okay.
I know one Rob Zombie song.
Cop
So,
Killers one,
No,
and
definitely.
they did a cover of Suicidal Tendencies, Institutionalized, but Ice-T wrote his own lyrics to it, and it's funny as hell. If you haven't looked it up, get
cool.
on uh, get on YouTube and look up Institutionalized. I believe it's 2014. That's when it came out,
Cool.
but it's funny.
Cool. Well, we got really sidetracked, didn't we?
Yeah.
Not really.
We started talking about Elvis, and then it just
Oh yeah,
Well, we're gonna go back to Elvis.
We're going back to
before,
Elvis.
Before we start talking about this movie, I wanted to make sure y'all had both seen it.
This is a long ride.
Yeah, no kidding.
It's a boat ride.
So we're going to talk enough about so if you haven't seen Elvis, you need to not listen to this show.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
And if you have seen Elvis, leave us some comments. What do you think?
Right.
Well, I got some things here. I was curious because I was curious the first time I saw it of how accurate.
It was not really Elvis. He's dead.
Well,
No, how accurate was some of the stuff that happened on the movie. And
well, now I know you
I do
said
have
that
those.
you did some fact checking.
Yes.
And when I watched the movie, I didn't take very many notes,
Right.
but I did take a few notes.
Well, I can probably clarify some of those because I've done some research. I got
Colonel
pulled
Tom
right now.
Pock.
I thought that I liked the way the movie. If anybody hasn't seen the movie, it's done. If you've seen Moulin Rouge, that was the same guy who filmed that show as who did Elvis. So it has kind of a fantasy kind of little, but it's beautiful. I mean, it's a really well done. It's visually fun. It's a very long movie, but actually the second time I saw it, I'm like, it didn't seem like it was near as long the first time I saw it. You know what I'm saying? I guess because maybe I knew what was coming up.
Yeah, well, the movie part itself is about 2.5 hours because there's about 9 or 10 minutes of credits and stuff at the end.
But you want to watch that too because there's some interesting stuff in there too. I thought Tom Hanks did a really good job. I think that the guy playing Elvis did a fabulous job. I mean, there are times when certain angles when he moves his head a certain way or something like that, it's like it almost gives you a chill. It's dead on Elvis,
Yeah, there was
his younger Elvis. I don't think his older Elvis.
Yeah,
they didn't chunk him up like he should have been. But you did.
That's because they used the real Elvis at the end.
Well, now I'm going to tell you on that scene where they said how weak he was getting, and he comes sit down at the piano. The first part of that is actually him.
Yeah, I know that.
And then no, it was the actor.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay. That. And then when it goes to that kind of almost a blurrier type picture,
that was real footage.
That was real footage of the last show. That was in Indianapolis, Indiana, actually.
Right.
And
because I think he was supposed to play here in Evansville a few days later, wasn't he?
Indianapolis was the last show of that tour.
Was it?
And then they were getting ready to go out on another tour. And actually, the singers, they were going out somewhere out. I just read this here the other day. After seeing the movie, I started doing a bunch of research, and they said that the singers and some of the band people went out a day before, and they were in Denver at the airport. And all of a sudden, the manager, whatever, came up to him and said, "We're turning around." And they go, "Why?" He said, "Elvis is dead." So that they just turned around mid-flight or from their stopover. And actually came back over. So they were heading to something that next day after Elvis died on, what was it, August 17th, I guess it was, 77.
It was the 16th.
16th, yeah.
Wow.
Anyway.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that was a kind of interesting story.
The movie.
Right. But, I thought it was, if you haven't seen it, it's very, I mean, the thing is, it's really no spoiler alert. Everybody knows Elvis is alive, and to cram 42 years of his life into, less than 3 hours. It's kind of, it's, I know that though I did read where the first cut of the movie was actually 5 hours long. And then they like, okay, we're going to cut. So they actually filmed complete scenes. No, they filmed complete scenes of like when Elvis went to meet Nixon, and those were all filmed and everything. So I'm hoping if you get the that thing you do by, it was one of Tom Hanks's earlier movies, you can get the DVD, and it has an hour and a half version, and it has almost a 3 hour version. So I'm hoping that at some point that 5-hour version would come out because I want to see
That would
that.
be pretty cool to see.
That would be really cool. So
The director's cut kind of thing.
Of course, it would take me like 6 days to watch that 5
well, of
hours.
course. Of course. And I remember watching that that thing you do. I always watch the longer version because there is a lot of, doesn't really complete the story anymore, but it just kind of gives you a little bit more background on some certain characters.
Yeah, well, it makes sense that they do a cut for a cinema, and then for the home audience who wants to see the longer movies and the bigger fans and stuff like that, makes sense to do bonus footage.
But some of the stuff, real quick, that was not B.B. King and Elvis Presley in the movie are really good friends and hang out quite a bit together. That really actually did not happen. They did know each other, and their paths did cross a few times, but they weren't as friendly as they said it was. During the '68 comeback special, when they were filming that, there was a scene where, as they're rehearsing, Robert Kennedy passes or gets shot and passes away.
Yeah, that was the Christmas thing.
Right, the comeback Christmas special. That actually did not happen. It happened similar. Didn't happen during. The senator was shot, and not during the taping of the rehearsals. Now, Elvis did. That song was written for the end of the show at that point for that to reflect kind of an emotional ballad called "If I Can Dream." Said that interesting. Elvis immediately didn't jump on it. Said actually he thought it may be a little bit too much Broadway, but he said after listening to it about 8 or 9 times, he finally said, "Okay, I'll do it." They said that the scene where Elvis goes off on Colonel Parker at the International Hotel. That's true, but not true. He did go off one night on somebody, but it wasn't the Colonel. It was another.
That was one of the things in my notes.
Yeah. That actually, I was too. I was like, man, I wonder if that really happened, and it didn't.
My question was, did the firing at the International really happen? And then in parentheses, cinematic liberty.
No, what happened was said there was an incident a few years before his death where Elvis exploded at the Hilton owner, Baron Hilton. Elvis had gone to the home of an employee he liked whose wife was dying of cancer, and the Hilton guy had terminated the employee before, I guess, didn't want to do it for his insurance. And Elvis basically attacked him on stage, saying that he wasn't worth a damn. And then said Parker was pissed about it because, of course, I think that, he was paying off some debts for that. I thought it was kind of interesting that the Priscilla thing was very, very short.
Well, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying that. I mean, I know that the movie was basically centered on Colonel Parker and Elvis's, actually more on him.
I did like that the movie was kind of from the point of view of Colonel Parker.
Right.
Even though there was a lot of cinematic liberties taken.
Sure.
It was just that was a different take than what you would normally expect.
Right.
One of those kind of. Yeah.
Because what was weird was when I saw it at the theater, I went to the bathroom and got some more popcorn right before he went to Germany. And time I got back, the scene was over. And I'm like, oh, Priscilla's here now. What happened there? So it's like the second time I got to see that portion of it. So it's a very short scene, and you really don't. There's not a whole lot about how they met and how this and that. I mean, it's just one little bitty quick scene, and it's kind of odd. But that's not the whole story. They've done enough Priscilla and Me and all those movies that they've done. They've covered that angle of it, I guess.
Multiple times.
The funny thing is this is really the only Elvis movie I've ever watched.
Really?
Well, I only watched it because we're going to talk about it today.
Right. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. Some of the things that struck me as interesting early on in the movie when they did the Louisiana Hayride show, and he started wiggling around, and then them girls got to screaming and hooting and hollering. I'd almost expected to see boobies on the screen.
I don't think that would be acceptable back then.
No.
Well, I realized that was still in the 50s when that happened. But
that would have caused all kinds of problems.
Yeah. We got cinematic liberties here. This is 2022. Come on.
Yeah, boobies are out now.
Well, another thing about that was he didn't really meet Colonel Parker. He worked in the circus of the carnivals and did that. He didn't actually meet Elvis till after he quit doing that. So that's another thing was kind of liberty. taken. So just a fact check.
Yeah, I liked some of the scenes when they kind of blended Elvis's recordings in with some modern rappers and stuff like that. You know,
It was
put a
kind of
little hip
different.
hop. I thought that was kind of neat. It was different and interesting. Uh, one of the scenes when the guy running for governor or the governor, whoever the politician was, you know, they had the headlines "Lust and Perversion" when he was shaking his hips and stuff. I don't know if this is true or not, but you know, the movie portrayed it that Elvis's mom died while he was in the army.
I think that's true.
Yeah, and had not realized that until today. I actually thought his dad had died long before his mother did. You know, so for all of you Elvis fans, obviously I'm not one of them.
Right.
But the Christmas special, that scene really cracked me up because when is he gonna sing Santa Claus is coming to town? And he did all of this other stuff, and then when it got up to the Kennedy thing, that for me that killed. I mean, and I understand why they did it, but that killed that whole scene for me. Even though they came back to it and finished it or whatever, that killed that for me.
Right.
You know. The only other real comment that I have is there were several times in the movie where I thought the guy that played Elvis looked and sounded a little bit like John Travolta. Some of the movies that I've seen Travolta in, he kind of portrayed that same swagger, if you will.
Right.
So, and it may be just something that I observed from one of them weird Travolta movies that I've seen. Of course, I'm a little bit off my rocker too, so I might be the only person on the planet that even made that observation like that.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I thought it was a pretty good movie. It was entertaining and it moved well. It moved along pretty well. I mean, for it being 2.5 hours, I thought it really was a pretty easy watch. Felt entertained the whole time, so that part was good. I knew a lot of the music. I was able to sing along.
Can I interject something here before I forget?
Sure.
I watched most of the movie before lunch. And I met Laura for lunch at a local restaurant. And there was a lady sitting at the table behind Laura, and she was extremely loud. And she described the movie from beginning to end. And it was funny because I was right up with her, until she got to the point where I had stopped the movie so that I could go to lunch. But, that was just a humorous observation on my point because until today I had no intention of ever watching that movie.
Isn't that weird?
It is.
That's weird. Yeah, I remember. If you were alive back then, you remember when he died. It was just the world just seemed to stop for a few minutes. And I remember, when he passed, there was a neighbor across the street that had a black velvet Elvis painting hanging in his living room. He had mutton chops, the whole shebang, and when he passed, I remember him sitting on the front porch just wailing. He was wailing on the porch, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. And went home, and Mom goes, "He's upset because Elvis died." I'm like, "How could Elvis die?" I mean, it just didn't, it's like,
right.
You don't think about that stuff. Right? He's 42. You think he's going to live forever. So
I was 7 when Elvis died.
Yeah. So
we were coming back from a
little crazy.
We were coming back from a camping trip. We went to down the Kentucky Lake at Hillman's Ferry, and I remember it was raining real hard, and Dad said, "Screw this, pack shit up, we're going home." And we were driving through Owensboro, Kentucky, and finally we turned the radio on to a station, and it was talking about Elvis passing away. So I remember the streets were real flooded and shit. And that was my recollection.
Well, what's really kind of strange, I was 7 years old living in Henderson, Kentucky at the time, and not too far down the road from us was a cemetery. And for the longest time, I thought Elvis was buried in that cemetery.
That's funny.
I don't think anybody knows where Elvis really is buried, right? Isn't that the deal?
At Graceland. No, it's at Graceland, supposedly. They moved him. He originally wasn't at Graceland, but they moved his mom and dad and him, all three.
I'm joking. That's been the joke forever and a day.
I know. I had a $25 bet that Elvis was going to come back by, what year was it? 80 something, and it didn't happen. I lost my bet.
Did you guys ever see that? I think the guy that played Bruce Banner
Oh,
on the
yeah.
Incredible Hulk.
Yeah. David
did-
somebody, right?
Yeah, they did a TV special about Elvis, and they purported through the whole show like Elvis wasn't dead, and at the end he was coming out. God, I wish I could remember it. That just popped into my head. I don't know why.
Well, there was a museum actually in St. Louis that was right outside of St. Louis, or some strip mall. It was the Elvis is Still Alive Museum, and I actually went. I stopped my vehicle for work and stopped and walked through the place.
That's crazy.
There was a book. I had the book. There was a tape that came with it that supposedly was a telephone call that was made after he was dead. It's interesting.
So, did Tom Parker kill him?
I think he got caught into a trap, like the song says.
He couldn't get out.
I think it was the fact of he did enjoy. I think he enjoyed doing what he'd done, and I think that other than being on stage, he wasn't happy, and basically just stayed medicated while he wasn't on stage. And when he was on stage, he was happy, and then he went back into he became a prisoner of his own deal.
Bill Bixby played Bruce
There
Banner.
Oh,
you go,
yeah,
Bill
yeah,
Bixby.
yeah.
I remember that. I actually remember that show. Now that you said that, I remember that. Bill Bixby's dead too. So what do you think
He
about
is.
that? He had cancer.
Yeah, I think the schedule, the work that he had to do, all that kind of stuff. I think Colonel. I mean,
you can't take that many drugs. And
no, I don't know that
pills.
Colonel Tom Parker actually killed him. No, but did he not help the situation?
No, not
absolutely. And I think it was just, it's pretty sad. But
and too, I mean, the thing was, and it's been proven. I mean, the dude took 50% of everything that he did. And there's so many stories about the Colonel. As far as the part where, remember in the movie, he said he was going to be in The Star Is Born with Barbara Streisand. And the reason he got they really didn't go into detail on that, but the reason he didn't get that was that Colonel Parker demanded that Elvis got first billing, and Barbara wouldn't do it, so he said, forget it. Same thing if you go to it was on one of those Foo Fighters things when Dave Grohl was talking to Dolly Parton, and Elvis actually flew into Nashville, was going to sing what's her big song, the one she did with God damn it, I Will Always Love You.
There's a bunch.
Well, no, but that one that Whitney Houston did, I Will Always Love You.
Yeah.
Anyway, he wanted to sing that song and record it, and at the last minute, the Colonel said, "Well, if he does sing it, we want ownership of the song. You have to sell us the rights to the song." And Dolly wouldn't sell it, and the Colonel said, "Okay, Elvis, let's go." And he packed his shit and flew off. It's one of those things. And it's a really surprising, really interesting. If you've never been to Graceland, go to Graceland. It's worth the trip. It's a tacky,
I like to go down there
shitty
sometime.
place, but it's really interesting. And the one thing that got me the most was the fact of that, you go through this one hall, it's got all of his gold records and gold this and gold that, and he was the biggest selling single person, not a group, but a single person, sold more single or records than anybody. And when you get to the very end, and as you're walking out the door, they said there's a little plaque there, and it says, of all the recordings that you just looked at and all the stuff that you've seen and being the sales that he had, Elvis Presley never wrote one song.
Nope.
I find that just really unbelievable. Kind of, you would think that he would finally go, you know what, I wrote this song.
I wonder if he didn't write a song and the band was like, nope, I ain't recording that.
And that's what I mean. I'd be curious. Seriously, I would be interested to know if he ever got to the fact where he tried and was turned down. But basically, they just went around and had people write him stuff, and bought them, and that was it.
Colonel Tom probably went, that's not fit for
Yeah.
what we're doing, so you're done with that one.
Right.
So, according to IMDb, the
Right.
documentary is called The Elvis Files. And
Yes.
It's a documentary narrated by actor Bill Bixby, who debates the strange cases that Elvis Presley was able to fake his death in 1977
I got it already,
and
Mac.
could be alive.
Yep.
And pretty sure I saw that that's available to watch on YouTube. So I watched it. I remember watching it because I thought for sure, Elvis was finally going to come back because,
Elvis is in the building.
yeah, Elvis is in the building.
Elvis has left the building. Yeah.
I noticed that they said
that
that
was
a couple of times in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was interesting. That's for sure. It's a good movie.
Yeah,
I'll watch it again
was.
sometime.
I watched that and Maverick this weekend. I liked both of them. Maverick was really good too.
Yeah, I had a kind of a musical weekend. I had
I'm not done with Elvis yet.
Oh, you're not?
No.
All right. Keep going then. What other questions you got?
Bill, what's your favorite Elvis song? Or I should say, what's your favorite song that Elvis sang?
Yeah, what's your favorite?
No shit.
Man. I don't know if it's Suspicious Mind might be my favorite. Yeah. I like that song.
I kind of like that one too. That would be my pick.
Oh my gosh. We got a trifecta here, fellas.
Yeah. It's good.
It's just bluesy kind of thing. I like that. I like it a lot. I mean, but I like a lot. There's quite a few of them I like. You know what's something very interesting is my my daughter-in-law to be, her favorite song is Can't Help Falling in Love.
Right.
Maybe the DJ will play that song.
Which is really interesting that's her favorite song, being the fact that she's 21.
Right. That's weird.
And she likes the Elvis version, not like a remake that was done or whatever.
Right.
It's the Elvis version, which is really very interesting.
Right.
Wouldn't expect that.
That one is a staple for wedding DJs.
Yeah. I'm sure it is. No doubt.
No doubt didn't do that one.
No, God, let's hope not.
Okay, I think I'm done with Elvis.
All right. Yeah, it was like I said, it's worth a watch. It's a good.
See, we had no internet from about. I tried to start watching the Taylor Hawkins thing. I watched about an hour of it. It was like glued to the TV, and then all of a sudden, the internet went out.
Pay bill.
No TV. Nope. Just this whole area lost it. So no internet from Saturday at 1 till yesterday at 4. And that'll be Monday at 4.
I haven't seen the whole thing. I've seen pieces of parts of it, but
I watched the 45. There was a 45-minute CBS special.
Right.
That I watched.
I saw
Do y'all
I know one thing. I know one thing. Well, I tell you
what did you see in 40? What did you see in the 45 minutes?
What it was in the 45 minutes.
It started out. Excuse me. The lead singer for Queens of the Stone Age, Niles Rodgers. The drummer for David Bowie. His name is Omar something. I can't remember.
The black guy.
Yeah, he's a black guy.
One that played with Rush that did YYZ.
I didn't see
God,
that.
he tore it up.
Yeah, but I thought Dave Grohl got on stage with Rush.
He played 2 songs with Rush. He played
okay. Anyway,
something in Working Man, and then YYZ come up, and then they brought that black guy up there, and he just absolutely.
It probably was Omar. That dude is a killer drummer.
He's very good.
They started it out with Let's Dance, and then the second song was Hot for Teacher, and that was Wolfgang on guitar. Dave Grohl was on bass. Justin Hawkins from, I believe in a thing
Darkness.
called The Darkness. Thank you.
There you go.
Sang, and I don't know who the drummer was.
I don't either, but he was good.
But the guy had Olivia Newton-John on his drum head, so I thought that was a nice little quiet tribute to her.
Right.
But for anybody that watched it, it's the guy that had the number 714 on his shirt. Please tell me who that guy was, because I want to check some more of his stuff out.
Yeah.
But I mean, he nailed that the Alex Van Halen Harley Davidson drum sound.
Right.
Cool.
Followed that, the Pretenders did Brass and Pocket.
I saw that one.
And then the Foo Fighters, Lars Ulrich, Brian Johnson, and Justin Hawkins came out and did Back in Black.
Yep.
And it is my understanding that Hawkins didn't want to come out there, and Brian Johnson told him to come out and help sing. And
second verse, wanted him to come out in second verse.
Took the microphone away from him, and they made a big deal about that, but apparently that was an inside joke between those guys or something. I don't know.
Right.
And then after that was Queen come out. Well, I say Queen. Brian May and Roger Taylor came out, and there were, I think, 4 or 5 drum sets out there. So they had 4 or 5 drummers up there doing "We Will Rock You," and they started out with the traditional one that we know,
Right.
and then cut into the electric version of the song.
The Live Killers version. I like that version.
That was really cool. I like that version a whole lot.
That was the guy from the Struts singing that too, and he did a really good job.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
I was getting
he was
to that.
really good. I'm sorry. Yeah, he's really good.
Yeah, because I had to look it up. I didn't know who he was. So I finally found a song the Struts sing that I like.
I saw them open for Food. And that's the first thing I told Kelly. I was like, man, he needs to do Queen because he looks and acts and sings just like Freddie.
Yeah. But after that, they did Times Like These, and I believe that's the one that Grohl got so choked up over.
Yep.
And then Taylor Hawkins' son, Shane, is that his name?
Yeah.
He
tore that up
on that song. God, that boy is good.
Yeah.
I played drums over the weekend.
He played on Hero. No, he played on
years.
Hero, actually. Shane played on Hero.
Yeah, that's what I read too.
Oh,
I saw it. I saw that part.
That's why I said I think.
Yeah.
Well, after Times Like These, Paul McCartney came out, and the lady that sings for the Pretenders,
Chrissy
Hine.
They came out and did "Oh Darling" together. And then after that, it was "There Goes My Hero," and the final song was "Everlong."
That's cool. I tell you what, Wolfgang Van Halen has been holding out on everybody because they always ask him to play Panama and all these Van Halen songs. He goes, "Look, I'm not going to do them." And then there's people going, "Well, it's just because he can't do it." That dude, he came out there. They played "On Fire" and then they played "Hot for Teacher." And I'm telling you what, Wolfgang absolutely fucking tore it up. I mean, it was. It was
on
so
one
good.
hand, I wish he would have played Panama because that's my favorite Van Halen song.
Right.
But on the other hand, I'm glad he didn't play Panama because everybody hollers for Panama. And he's always saying, "No, I'm not going to play Panama."
It's funny. I read an article that said that people were saying, well, I read a couple things on posts on Facebook or whatever, people saying, well, it's pretty nice to be Eddie Van Halen's son, and then you get to play all the Van Halen songs because whatever, and you just that's all you do. And I posted right after the guy, and I said, you absolutely have not done one bit of research on Wolfgang Van Halen, not one bit.
Go listen to the Mammoth album
because he doesn't do them at all. He doesn't do the songs in the shows. He doesn't do. He doesn't do it. So I'm like, you haven't done it. You've done no research, jackass. You're just making something up off what you saw once.
Because he actually won't play Van Halen songs.
No, because he won't. The one I saw Joe Walsh. I saw Joe Walsh because it was when I saw it was Pretenders, and then Joe Walsh came out right after that, and then
they did a weird version of "Walk Away" though. It didn't have that. It
was just the Joe Walsh thing was just kind of weird. Period. Because
he did Bolero, but he did Bolero in the middle of that second song. I don't remember what song the second one was.
Yeah, it was just kind of all Bolero over the place.
But then he did Funk 49, and he didn't have any female back singers like he usually does. He should have grabbed Dave's girls.
And he plays great.
Right.
Can't sing a lick.
He's never been able to sing a lick.
Well, no. That's not true. That's not true. When you go back to back in the day, it was okay.
No, but he's what, fucking 70.
Well, I know that, but I'm like, it was just not. It was really not good.
Can we say this? Can we say the name Paul Stanley?
No, Paul sounds better than Joe, and you can say whatever.
I don't know.
Yeah, he does. And I can't remember who I saw after Joe Walsh, and then I'm sitting there watching it, and it goes, blip, come right off, and I'm like, what the hell? And that was it. That's the last thing. That was the last time I saw it.
Well, I'm pretty sure at some point, if it's not already, it will be on one of the streaming services.
It is now.
It's on Pluto and
Paramount Plus. You can watch the whole
Paramount
thing
Plus.
right
And I just canceled my subscription
because
it ran out.
Plus.
Are they doing the same thing with the Vegas, with the LA show?
I don't know I don't know if they're going to put it on TV or not. I would say no, but I haven't heard anything about it.
I don't think they're having the same people. I wouldn't think.
No, it'd be a different show.
So I'd put them both on. That'd be
I
cool.
wish they would. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, what I would really like to see them do is offer it up for sale and give that money to some, some kind of charity.
Yeah. Well, for the Taylor Hawkins Foundation or whatever, something. I'm sure he's probably
fall under some kind of charity.
Yeah, I'm sure there's probably something he's created for that.
Probably so.
Yeah,
it's a good show though.
But part of my weekend musical thing was I was supposed to be the MC at the local annual hospice concert. We have a national act come in and they raise money for our hospice center that takes care of patients that are near the end of life and that kind of stuff. And it got rained out. Who
was the band?
I got it was Yacht Rock Review, hence the hat. It got I got the message at like 4. I think I had to be there at like 5:30. I got it like right at 4. And
Lisa and your son stopped by to get that hat.
Yeah, stopped by and borrowed your hat, and then didn't need it after all.
They gonna reschedule it then, or
no? It's one of those things. It's the same time of the year every year, so it's a big. That is the big fundraiser. They sell $10 raffle tickets for $10,000, and it's a huge money maker.
Well,
so
that's really awesome.
That kind of sucks. And this is the 3rd year in a row they haven't been able to have it because of COVID for 2 years, and that's been the same band. So, it's just been.
Do they have a inside place to go in case of rain?
Well, if you do that, you have to. You can't like decide that day you're going to move everything or that that close, and so and there's nothing that big. The high school gyms wouldn't be enough to hold it. So
I got you.
It would be.
I hate to hear that.
Yeah, kind of stinks. Well, it really stinks for them.
And you didn't get to wear the hat out in public.
So didn't get to wear the hat out somewhere.
Walmart. Wear it to Walmart.
Yeah, I went to Walmart looking for one. They didn't have any.
I got that off of Amazon, I think, where I bought mine.
So I listened to music and stuff this weekend because I didn't have any anything to do, and I had no listened to some tunes, and I watched Rockstar.
Cool.
Then we watched another movie. Then we just watched a movie. Watched DVDs. Yeah. It's kind of crazy. Actually watched Kiss Asylum, or no, Animalized. I watched the Animalized DVD.
Wow.
Kiss at the speed of
editor out.
No, not an exposed asylum or Animalized.
Asylum.
Animalized live uncensored.
Yeah,
gotcha.
And very fast.
This place looks like a damn zoo. I kind of had a little bit of a musical day Saturday. My son-in-law, his parents had a cookout up their house up in Jasper, Indiana, and they invited us to come. So we went up there, and my son's father-in-law is a huge Rush fan. So when we get there, there's this 9-piece drum kit set up in the garage, and
really
guitars over here and a couple of guitars over here. Yeah, it turned into a jam session.
Nice.
Cool. So we jammed to about 15 or 20 songs that most of us didn't really know what the hell we were doing.
That's always fun.
So I played drums on Seek and Destroy by Metallica. Well, I could tell I hadn't played the drum. The last time I played the drums is when we were in Nashville and did the Rockin' Pod.
Oh wow, that's been a day.
Because I played drums on Rockin' in the Free World, and then Saturday night I played guitar on Rockin' in the Free World, and then Freebird.
Huh.
And then they handed me a bass, and I played bass on 3 or 4 different songs, and had a good time. I made the mistake of trying to sing 25 or 6 to 4, and I forgot how good a singer Peter Cetera is. Yeah. So I was just like, nah, go into a guitar solo. I'm done. But we had a good time. I was actually supposed to work a sound job, and my business partner, it was like, well, I'm going to have to be there. And I'm like, you want to fill in for me? I got an invite somewhere. And he was like, gotcha. So shout out to Benny for giving me Saturday night off.
There we go.
Nice. That was a nice gift.
Yeah. Cool. So I drank beer and played music.
Cool.
Yeah. I was going to drink beer and deal with music on Saturday anyway. I just didn't get paid to do it now.
Gotcha.
But I had more fun not getting paid.
I'm sure of that. I'm sure of that.
All right.
All right, I don't have anything else. You guys have anything else?
I got nothing. I got nothing.
Today is Tuesday, September the 7th. Is that correct?
I think it's
September the 6th.
6th.
It is Roger Waters' 79th birthday.
Cool.
So, yeah. Happy birthday, Roger.
Yep. He's on tour actually right now.
Yeah, I know. A couple of friends of mine have gone to see that show and said it's really good.
Yeah, it looks pretty visual.
I'm not a Pink Floyd fan. I would not.
I'm not a Pink Floyd fan either, but I have had opportunities. I should have went. I was in Germany when he did the Wall tour over there, and he was doing a show in Berlin, and I'm kicking. 32 years later, 33 years later, I'm still kicking myself for turning down an opportunity to go see that.
Right.
Yeah,
that would have been cool.
Seeing the Wall when they took the Wall down would have been something.
Right.
No, that's true. That makes sense.
Well, I don't have anything else either, so I guess visit agesofrock.com, check out our past episodes and social media links, and until next time, y'all peace out. Thanks for listening to the Ages of Rock podcast. If you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and most importantly, tell all your friends. Remember, you're never too old to rock. Until the next episode, peace out, folks.